Everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, and precious metals, commodities, and ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go. And if you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We still have that holidays coupon code going on for maybe a day or two more. And you're going to lose your opportunity for that discount if you don't sign up for, I would say, the next couple of days. All right, guys, that's what I've got. Let's dive in and see what's going on with the markets. Dollar ripping higher today. So we did come up to that support level. Now, this would have been a really difficult read right in here. The reason I say that is generally what you see is you'll see a large downward momentum movement. You'll get a consolidation, and that's generally a continuation pattern lower. We came on up, and the buyers basically came into a spot here where it came and tried to break above support, came back down. I would have guessed that this was going to go lower for the DXY in the short term. But we ripped higher today in the DXY. Boom. Using this maybe as support, but the support definitely was not in this setup before it. So that would have caught me off guard in the short term. Good thing I don't trade in the short term. And we are ripping higher today in the DXY. Looking at the 2-year yield, the 2-year yield pretty much flat today, 0.05, but it did start the day pretty high. A lot of momentum lost throughout the day. If we were to take the short term, ripping higher, and then the reversal to going a little bit lower. But overall, the momentum is not gained to the upside, but it might be trying to put in a bottom here for the 2-year. Still lots of downside momentum. 10-year yield down 1%. It was up in the morning. It does look like we're trying to break through this downtrend line where we popped up and doing a return move where we could eventually move higher. Yields and oil are very highly correlated. So we'll see what this looks like over the next few trading days. This is a bearish engulfing, but we're sitting on top of support. Kind of interesting setup. TYX has a similar setup. We've broken the downtrend line, but we could be coming back for a return move or another bottoming type process there at around 4%. TYX-TNX ratio slightly higher today, where we saw a little bit more decline in the 10-year than the 30-year. Is this squeezing up, breakout, retest, and are we going to drop to the downside and invert further? Or are we going to rip to the upside where all the recession bros would be right and this starts to basically uninvert? I don't know yet. And short term, it's going to be a difficult read. So let's see what occurs here. Maybe I could even grab this thing. It's not really a trend line there. There's a strong trend line here. So we'll see what occurs. Bond prices up. That does look like it wants to go higher and that we could get a reversal candlestick today where bond prices could go up, which means that yields could go down. But we've broken that downtrend line in yields, and we'd have to break back through that downtrend line. So we've got information that conflicts with each other in the short term. Which one's going to be right? We'll have to find out and wait and see. And then the 2-year, 10-year inverted further today from that measurement. And we are up in inversion land up here. Gold getting hit pretty hard today. Is this squeezing up into a corner where we could potentially come back lower? I don't know, maybe. Kind of an interesting setup there, and those rising wedges generally fall to the downside. That would be seen if rates go up. If rates go down, I would think that gold would get a tailwind behind it. Silver down 3% today. It's still below that big resistance line here, and we are slightly below it still. Platinum down 1.3%. Not a huge selling pressure day. There was some relief towards the end of the day. as it came back up throughout the end of the day. But again, guys, I think this is going to go higher on the longer term. As this here, you got your consolidation, and now we've got a kind of it all bunched up over here. I'm wondering if they're trying to hold all this down. I don't know, because this looks like a setup very similar to, maybe we're like in here, the setup. Very interesting setup here. I'm just kind of trying to see where we're exactly at compared to last bull market. Palladium, we're down 0.68%, but to me, this looks like we were doing a return move back to this level down there. So breakout, return move, and then we'll probably work our way on up. XE to go ratio, gold and silver mining companies underperforming the metal today. Still have not broken through this long-term downtrend line on the ratio. And we're starting to gain a little bit of downside momentum outside of upside momentum. Again, we'll see where this thing goes. CRB index up 1%, and that looks like it wants to go higher. It is a bullish engulfing here and another one here. So we'll see if we can get some traction here and move on up. Oil is going to be our key commodity driver of this. CRB to S&P 500 definitely working its way higher. This makes me think that interest rates want to go up still, even though bond prices are in stark contrast on the 20-year TLT. It's kind of interesting setup here. But this looks good to go higher, like it's trying to bottom here. GDX down quite a bit, but still above support. That's this guy there. We've got GDXJ down, but just on support, basically slightly lower than it. Yields are what, the dollar and yields are what are taking the sale out of this in the short term. It looks like we kind of squeezed up there and punched to the downside a little bit, but let's see if there's support here. And SILJ also down around the support region. We had a nice little kind of breakout, but came back pretty hard here, especially today and the past few days here. Pretty big pullback, but we'll see if support sticks and what yields do here. Yields are kind of confusing on the short term here, which direction they want to go. Crude oil ripping today. This looks like a bottom to me, but again, we've got a downtrend line that I drew through 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 here. We're testing it. We had a nice good surge today of buying pressure that looks very strong. That still looks like we've got momentum going to the upside. So that looks fantastic for crude oil. And rates also follow crude oil to the upside. So I think if crude oil can rip here, or at least base out, go up slowly or something, I think rates might follow it up with it. TTF gas ripping today, up 8.3%. Looks like it's trying to put in a bottom here at some point. A bullish piercing pattern. This is at a very cheap level. So I'm going to see, sideways to higher is probably what's coming for TTF Dutch gas. Natural gas in America up quite a bit, 4.75%. Pretty nice day. Bullish engulfing there. That's looking good. I know cold weather's coming up, and I'm sure that may have an impact on pricing here. XOP, yeah, you know me, hitting up 1%. Guys, I still think this looks fantastic. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and it looks like we're trying to break our way on up. Looks like we're positioning ourselves to do that. We've got the downtrend line break. We've got oil working well today. And I know oil was up 3.75 and XOP was only up 0.91%. But maybe it is waiting to see that oil is for surely bottomed and is trying to confirm that we're going to go higher before XOP rips. Maybe. OIH up 0.35%. This has got a falling wedge that's broken to the upside. I think this is ready to go higher in OIH. We're on the lower end of this channel down here, the lower end down in that region. And that's generally been a good time to be looking to purchase, and that is that general area that we're in right now for energy service. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust breaking to the downside. We could see further downside here if this is a legit breakout. So that's looking a little bit weaker on this fall or rising wedge that's broken to the downside. URA dropping 1% today. We got a big gap here as well, and I think that's that dividend gap. URNM down, but we're still above support, and URNJ down, but still above support. So these are holding in just fine. But the real trick here is this going to go lower or is this a false breakout before a slingshot higher? We'll find out. TAN down 3%, doesn't like stronger dollar with higher rates, but it's still above support. Still looks like it's doing all right in the short term. COPX down 0.81%. Looks like it's trying to fill this gap right there. And we'll see if it gets filled. I know people are like, all gaps get filled, but they don't. Historically, not all gaps get filled. Maybe we'll fill this like in 2030 or something. No, it looks okay. Big bullish engulfings here and here, and it still looks good for the overall general trend to go up. Lithium down 1.9%. Doesn't like that strong dollar. Doesn't like the increasing yields in the morning. Even though yields pull back, sometimes they stay down. But still looks good. Looks like it's trying to bottom. REMX looks like it's trying to bottom in here too. And it's just doing kind of like a retest into that bottoming pattern there. So a lot of the times you get like a basing pattern here. You break out, you do a retest, and then you work your way on up. SPX down 0.8%. Not a huge selling pressure day. It's not nothing though. We're up against resistance. Historically, though, guys, I think we're going to go back down here at some point. Or are we going to break to the upside? If we're in a highly inflationary environment, this is going to go sideways to slightly lower and cycle back up and down, much like this period here. That's kind of what I think could potentially occur. Now, could this cycle occur like this, where this is up here and we are cycling back and forth in a smaller, tighter channel? Possible. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't have anything in the S&P. I just watch it, and it's coming on down. NASDAQ's also coming on down. Probably doesn't like stronger yields and rates, but you also have this trend line that's coming up that I drew in a while back, and I said, well, maybe we go all the way up here, turn, and head lower. That's what's doing in the short term, but again, that's what's occurring right now. And is this the Batman pattern where you get the Batman here? See, good old Batman there, man. We'll see. We'll see what occurs over the next few trading sessions there. Looks like we're getting some selling pressure. KRE down, doesn't like those stronger dollar, yields going up a little bit. But again, the bond prices, the yields reverse pretty hard throughout the day. Sometimes the stocks don't react that quickly to it. And bond prices do look like they want to go higher on the 20-year with the bullish engulfing. So maybe this is just a return move to test that breakout before heading higher. And that's what we're looking for. Emerging markets down because of stronger dollar, back to support. We've got XHB down. I think that's going to do whatever KRE and does opposite of what rates do. Maybe it's going to fill this gap. Maybe it's going to do a full return move. Don't know, but that's the setup. And it still looks very strong in relationship to history. Moo down 0.9%. We're coming up against some resistance. It looks like it's trying to turn over a little bit right at that resistance trend line here. We've got copper down a teeny bit. But again, copper, it's going to go higher, guys. It's going up with the deficits that are coming out in the late 2020s. There's no point of worrying, I would say, in the short term. Even if this were to dive down, it's still going to go up eventually. Iron ore down 0.8%, but again, I think we're going higher over time with this pattern here. We've got aluminum down a little bit. That's just doing a retest, in my opinion, down to this level there. So we're doing a retest before we move on up. Baltic Dry Index is flat today, and it looks like we're just doing a retest here before heading higher. Higher because iron ore is going to go higher, and I think coal eventually will go higher too. Coal is up 0.67%, at least Newcastle Coal Futures. This is basing out. This looks fantastic to go and turn to go higher. Um, whoa, whoa, whoa! What's the replay there? Yeah. Sorry, guys. Hit the wrong button there. We got that, and that'll work its way on up. It's just a retest move off that. Bitcoin down 5%, back within the pattern. Looks like it had a false breakout. I don't know what's going on here. Look at the volatility on this thing. Boom. Hey, we broke out. No, you didn't. We're back in the pattern. Ethereum also getting some strong selling pressure today. That's kind of interesting. Pretty strong selling pressure days here, guys, in those two. And we'll see where that goes. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you're interested. We've got a Saturday, 7 a.m. question and answer session coming up. If you're interested and you want to ask questions, I did release the midweek update today, so check that out. I did purchase some stocks as well. You can check my purchase history if you're interested. And hopefully oil can gain some traction here, start moving on up. Generally, oil goes up with the dollar and up with yields. They all kind of go up together. Has been the recent trend of dollar trends and yield trends and oil. So oil, again, pretty strong day today. We'll see if this is trying to bottom here and if we get some upside momentum. That will impact precious metals in a negative way if yields continue to go up and the yield curve inverts further, which would be surprising, I think, to the majority of people. And probably the likelihood of doing that is higher than what most people think, because most everyone thinks that we're going to go into a recession, at least on Twitter, in that housing market, we're going to get this big crash. What if they're all wrong? What if Bitcoin, Ethereum go lower? Do not like the increasing rates. Rates are going up because people still think inflation is coming, and the dollar goes up with higher interest rates. Could be a case, but again, I don't know the future. I do know there's a lot of good entry points in the market right now across all these different sectors. And that's what I know. And if in the short term, wherever this thing plays out, we'll track it, we'll monitor it, and see where it goes. All right, guys. Catch you next time. This is Finding Value.